Conference call is provided by Uber Conference. Welcome to your conference. Please wait for the others to join. If you're trying to join another call with the same number, press the star key.
Hello?
Hey, Rebecca. It's Ethan.
Hi there.
Hi, how are you?
Good. So your UberConf link is locked, and the Google Hangout seemed like it was just me.
Yeah, sorry about that. I had locked it for a previous call, so I think, and we ran over about 1 minute.
Oh, okay. So if I refresh, it will be open.
It should be now, yeah.
Oh, counterintuitively, if you click the refresh button in the modal, it's not refresh.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you have to
Poor
hard
design.
refresh your browser.
Oh, man.
Okay. Okay. There I am at a frat party in college.
I won't judge.
I don't know why I have to say stuff, but okay.
Cool. Well, I have till about, I got about 20 minutes till 1:55, so let's jump in if that works for you.
Sure.
Awesome. Yeah, so tell me, I know you said you were the business development lead for Flatiron. Would love to hear a little bit about your sales team, and then I can tell you a little bit about the problems that we're out to solve and see if it's a good fit.
Sure. So, I mean, I guess what was interesting about your outreach was just kind of always trying to figure out ways to be better in the sales process. What our BD team does is engages with employers all over the country, and our kind of sell is graduates from our program, which is a kind of vocational school for software engineering, are interviewing after they finish the program for developer jobs. Most of them are changing careers, so our team exists to both give students kind of a leg up in the interview process. We act as kind of a trusted referral to companies and suggest folks for them to interview at a school. And to serve companies, of course, it's extraordinarily valuable that we have this several hundred employer network across the country who kind of trust our recommendations and look well upon our students. So what the BD team does is kind of sources opportunities, job opportunities at companies that could be a good fit for our grads, learns a little bit about the company and what they're looking for and the kinds of folks that they like to employ, and then works with the hiring manager usually to select a group of students to interview, and hopefully a bunch of those turn into offers.
Got it.
We don't sell anything for money on our team.
Yeah, right.
6 people.
Okay. And so are you guys, are you making a lot of cold calls, or what's sort of the nature of the sales process?
Email, top of funnel, call, and then there's kind of this two-sided, right? Part of it kind of leaves our hands, where after the initial call, we're facilitating interview processes for the employers, but not like pushing any particular product, right? We genuinely want employers to find a good match in a student.
And so when the team is on the phone with employers, what does that first conversation look like?
Depends on the employer. Looks a little bit like this for most employers.
Okay. So kind of a discovery call.
Yep.
Okay. Got it. And so when you had responded to my email, was there a particular problem that's on your mind or something that's feeling challenging that you're sort of hoping to sort of overcome?
Not really. So 6-person sales team, pretty small. We're just getting our sea legs, like really using Salesforce, like using Salesforce really well.
Cool.
And there's, I think, tons of insights in Salesforce we haven't even been able to mine yet because of the way that we structure the data, and the views and the requirements are not perfectly set up to accommodate our use case yet. But so I think we're kind of scratching the surface of looking at other optimizations.
Okay, got it. I want to ask a few more questions just so I make sure I understand, because this is a little bit, sort of an interesting use case for a sales team. Are there, of the 6 people that are on your team, are there some people that are sort of clearly performing better than others in building relationships with employers?
You mean like what's the difference?
Yeah, like do you notice a difference across people in terms of their performance?
Well, there's two kinds of, I guess, let me ask a counter question. What's your, like what kinds of managers are you usually talking to? Like why are we, I know we don't sell anything for money, but why else are we different?
Well, that would be it. So what I would want to make sure is that the things that we measure are relevant to the things that are useful for your team.
What are the kinds of things you usually measure?
So I'll give you the brief overview here, and then you can see if it resonates. So the 3 kind of problems that we basically address for clients is usually clients that we work with are thinking about first, what are the characteristics of a call that are actually determining success or failure of that call. So what matters and what doesn't when I'm coaching my reps on how to do better. The second question is of those things, of those characteristics that influence the success or failure, what's the one skill or one sort of strategy on a call that I should be really focusing on and training my reps on right now in order to drive the highest improvement in performance? And then the third question that we help teams with is, once I've coached my reps on these skills, how do I make sure that they're going out and implementing those things on their phone calls? And so we help with tracking. So in terms of what we actually measure is we'll look at things like what kinds of questions are your reps asking? Are they probing for pain points from the customers, from the employers? Are they talking about not just the features of Flatiron, but also the benefits, not just the fact that you guys have these trained students, but also the benefits of working with students that have just come out of the boot camp. And then we look at things like, did they ask for a next step? So are your reps saying, setting up that next phone call or pushing these employers down the pipeline?
How many, so you guys haven't been around for all that long, around how many companies are you working with?
What would you say?
Around how many companies are you working with? Like how big are they? Because those, I know a lot of those things, I feel. This is a small team.
You said those things could be helpful?
I know a lot of those things, I feel, right? Like we do record calls from time to time. We sit in on each other's calls. We practice calls together, and we're small enough that we can do that for everyone still.
Yeah, well, so we have got 12 clients, and it ranges from 3 sales reps to 100 sales reps. The reason, just to push back a little bit, what you end up finding, I would imagine that even if you're listening to some calls, and I'm sure you're sitting by the team so you overhear them, you probably only really hear about 2% or 3% of the total calls that are made. And so what's helpful about a system like ours is we're actually evaluating every single call on your team. And so we sort of help you uncover insights that you would only be able to really get by looking at the sort of picture as a whole thing. So we give you that sort of bird's eye level view that's really hard to get when you zoom in.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. What does it plug into?
Do you guys record calls at the moment?
Not all of them, no.
You don't record calls?
No. You'd have to do it purposefully. Like, can you work with an UberConf?
We can, yeah. We basically will integrate with that, whatever system you use. So if it's Uber Conference, we'll do an integration, use their API, and then we would give you a dashboard where you can go in and, anytime you want to know, hey, how's that person doing on this skill that I've been training them on? Are they increasing week over week? You can go in and check.
Got it. Oh, that's interesting. You live in Brooklyn or San Francisco?
I used to live in Brooklyn. I actually worked at General Assembly, so I'm very familiar with the boot camp life.
How is that?
And what'd you say?
How was that?
It was great. I was only there for 4 months, and then I moved to San Francisco to do this full time.
What made you, looks like you have a pretty academic background, what made you want to do sales optimization?
Well, a couple of things. So my co-founder and I have a background in machine learning, which is, I don't know if you're familiar, but it's this process of taking lots of data and being able to train a machine to recognize things that typically humans would be the ones doing, so like analyzing phone calls. So we knew that this technology was out there, and then both of us have had sales experiences where we saw managers spending a lot of either over-investing in the number of hours they have to spend listening to phone calls, or not having a good understanding of what their team was doing well and wasn't doing well. And so with our tech background, we were able to say, like, oh, this is a place where we could really help.
Cool.
So does this resonate with you? Do you see, how do you think this could be helpful to your team?
I guess, I guess I'd be interested to understand more about, what is setup, what is pricing. I think for us right now, and nice to have, I need to make our Salesforce instance actually work for the kinds of leads we're entering, right, and corrects our conversion flow, and that's going to be higher on the priority list. But I'd be interested to understand what the dashboards look like, what it costs, kind of the blocking and tackling.
Sure, yeah. I'm happy to do it to sort of take you through the platform and show you what it looks like. Typically, what we do is we do it with your actual data. So we would take a sample of your calls, and that way you can see the platform, see the kinds of things it would actually be telling your team specifically. So if you want to get that process started, I can send you instructions on how to upload calls.
Cool.
Does that sound?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, and that way you'll get a real feel for it with your own data and see if it seems like something that would be a value add to your team.
Sounds good.
All right, so why don't we set up a time next week? Is this a good time for you next week to walk through the demo?
Next week is pretty not good.
Okay.
Maybe
after Labor Day?
Yeah, the following week is better,
okay.
5 o'clock Eastern time on the 7th. Good time.
Okay, Wednesday, 5 o'clock Eastern. So I will send you a calendar invite now, and I'll send you instructions to upload. I think it's best if you can upload 5 to 10 calls for 2 of your reps. That would be probably enough data to get started with.
Okay.
Yep.
I will take a look.
All right, sounds good, Rebecca. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you, Ben.
Bye.